welcome to video number 3, where we are going to finish off Unit 15 with our last video lesson on how to find similar solids and volume. Alright, so you took a few notes from the top of page 696, and you needed to know that when you have similar solids, that the ratio of the volume is equal to the cube of the ratio of the corresponding linear measures. So really, if you think about it, you want to try to remember. Where do I square or do I cube? Well, if we're looking at surface area, area is always squared. And if we're looking at volume, volume is always cubed. So here we have another proportion where the volume of one figure to the volume of the other is equal to the ratio of the corresponding linear measures that are cubed. So let's just get right to a couple examples. The first one, these two solids are similar. We're going to find the volume of the larger solid, and so we're going to set up our proportion. You know me, I love my template, my proportional template. Proportions are amazing tools to help solve mathematical problems. So it says, hey, the volume, we're going to find the volume of the larger one. So obviously 250 millimeters squared is the smaller one, and I'm going to start right off with that. 250 for the smaller one, and we don't know what the larger one is. The only linear measure that they give us, it's not like we have to guess, they're giving us the height of these pyramids. I can tell that they are rectangular pyramids, and they're giving us the height. The smaller one is 3 millimeters, and the larger one is 4 millimeters. And we know that to find volume, that this ratio of the corresponding linear dimensions has to be cubed. And so now we're going to cube that ratio first and then solve the proportion as we always do. So we're going to have 250 to x is equal to, well, 3 cubed. That means 3 times 3 times 3, and that's 27. Over 4 cubed, and that's 4 times 4 times 4, which is 64. And now we do our cross products. We do our cross products and we say 27 times x is 27x. And 250 times 64 just happens to be 16,000. Dividing by 27, you would get that the volume of the larger one is 592.29. Oh, excuse me, 0.59. And of course, rounding to the nearest tenth, that'd be 592.6. And since we're talking volume, it would be millimeters cubed as our final answer. So as you can see, the process is the same. It's just that now we're cubing because we're talking volume. And as we said earlier, volume is units cubed. So here we go. One more time. This time we're going to find the volume of the smaller solid. So we know that when they're similar, that these volume and corresponding dimensions, that they have a proportion to them. And how are they proportional? That the volume of one, 1500, to the volume of the other is equal to the corresponding dimensions. For the larger one, it's 6. For the smaller one, it's 3.2. And we know that that has to be cubed because we're speaking volume. And so now we just have to do the math. Once we have it in there, once we understand its volume and that we're cubing it, it's just down to doing some basic math. So once again, 1500 to x, and then we have 6 cubed. Now 6 cubed is equivalent to 216. And 3.2 cubed is equivalent to 32.768. All right? And now we do our cross products. We're going to get 216x. And when we go the other way, 1500 times 32.768 just happens to be 49,152. And of course, we're going to divide by the 216 to solve this equation after finding the cross products that we make equal. And 216 goes into 49,152. 227 0.5, and it repeats. So then our final answer would be 227.6. The volume would be feet, and it's cubed as our final answer. So setting up proportions, pretty easy, straightforward stuff. I know you can do it. And of course, the easiest way to remember is if we're having similar solids and we're looking at surface area, that's when you square the corresponding linear dimensions. And if we're talking volume, that's when you cube. That's when you cube the corresponding linear dimensions. So of course, we're going to finish off Unit 15 with our last quick write of tonight. The ratio of the corresponding linear measures of 2 buckets of popcorn is 2 to 5. Okay, so now that's the ratio that needs to be what? You should figure that out by now. Always start out with a proportion and then put that ratio that they just told you in there. It says the larger bucket has a volume of 390 cubic inches. Find the volume of the smaller bucket. Round your answer to the nearest tenth. Now last time I started it out for you. This time I'm only putting the template. You write the rest, and we'll discuss it when you come to class. Don't forget to come to class with questions on surface area and volume of similar solids, and then highlight any parts of your notes that need to be highlighted to help you remember them. Begin working on your assignment. Finish off your 45 minutes of quality effort using aggressiveness and urgency. Use your time effectively, and of course, you know it, all out effort. You guys are amazing. Thank you, and I'll see you tomorrow.